हेलो एवरीवन, मैं हूँ रजनी मीना, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज रावतभाटा। हम जॉन डन के बारे में डिस्कस कर रहे थे। पिछले वीडियो में हमने जॉन डन की अर्ली लाइफ के बारे में डिस्कस किया था। इसमें हम उसके राइटिंग्स के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे। Dunn's earliest poems showed a developed knowledge of English society coupled with the sharp criticism of its problems. His satire dealt with common Elizabethan topics such as corruption in the legal system, mediocre poets and pompous courtiers. His image of sickness, vomit, manure, and plague reflected his strongly satiric view of a society populated by fools and knaves. His third satire, however, deals with the problem of true religion, a matter of great importance to Donne. He argued that it was better to examine carefully one's religious convictions than blindly to follow any established tradition, for none would be saved at the final judgment by claiming a Harry or a Martin taught this. Donne's early career was also notable for his erotic poetry, especially his elegies, in which he employed unconventional metaphor such as a flea biting two lovers being compared to sex. Donne did not publish these poems, although they circulated widely in manuscript form. One such a previously unknown manuscript that is believed to be one of the largest contemporary collection of Donne's work was found at Melford Hall in November 2018. Some have speculated that Dunn's numerous illness, financial strain, and the deaths of his friends all contributed to the development of a more sober and pious tone in his later poems. This change can be clearly seen in Anatomy of the Bird, 1611, a poem that Donne wrote in memory of Elizabeth Drury, the daughter of his patron, Sir Robert Drury of Hausted, Suffolk. This poem treats Elizabeth's demise with extreme gloominess, using it as a symbol for the fall of man and the destruction of the universe. The increasing gloominess of Dunstone may also be observed in religious works that he began writing during the same period. Having converted to the Anglican Church, Dunn quickly became noted for his sermons and religious poems. Towards the end of his life, Donne wrote works that challenged death and the fear that it inspired in many men, on the grounds of his belief that those who die are sent to heaven to live externally. One example of this challenge is his holy sonnet 10, Death Be Not Proud. Even as he lay dying during Lent in 1631, he rose from his sick bed and delivered the death duel sermon, which was later described as his own funeral sermon. Death's duel portrays life as a steady descent to suffering, and death becomes merely another process of life in which the binding seat of the womb is the same as that of the grave. Hope is seen in salvation and immortality through an embrace of God, Christ, and the resurrection. His style. His work has received much criticism over the years, especially concerning his metaphysical form. Donne is generally considered the most prominent member of the metaphysical poets, a phrase coined in 1781 by Samuel Johnson, following a comment on Donne by John Dryden. Dryden had written of Donne in 1693. He affects the metaphysics not only in his satires but in his ombrous verses, where nature only should reign, and perplexes the minds of the fair sex with the nice speculations of philosophy, when he should engage his hearts and entertain them with the softness of love. In the life of Cowley, from Samuel Johnson's 1781 work of biography and criticism, Lives of the Most Eminent English Poets, Johnson refers to the beginning of the 17th century, in which there appeared a race of writers that may be termed the metaphysical poets. Donne's immediate successors in poetry therefore tended to regard his work with ambivalence, with the new classical poets regarding his conceits as abuse of the metaphor. He was revived by the romantic poets such as Coleridge, Browning, though his mere recent revival in the early 20th century by poets such as T.S. Eliot and critics like F.R. Lewis tended to portray him with approval as an anti romantic. Donne is considered a master of the metaphysical conceit and an extended metaphor that combines two vastly different ideas into a single idea, often using imagery. An example of this is the equation of lovers with saints in the canonization, unlike the conceits found in other Elizabethan poetry, most notably Petrarchan conceits, which formed clicked comparison between more closely related objects such as rose and love. Metaphysical conceits go to a greater depth in comparing two completely unlike objects. One of the most famous of Donne's conceit is found in One of the most famous of John Donne's conceit is found in a benediction for wedding morning, where he compares the apartment of two separated lovers to the working of the legs of a compass. Donne's work was also witty, employing paradoxes, puns, and subtle yet remarkable analogies. His pieces are often ironic, cynical, especially regarding love and human motives. Common objects of Donne's poems are love, especially in his early life, death, especially after his wife's death, and religion. John Donne's poetry represented a shift from classical form to more personal poetry. Donne is noted for his poetic meter, constructed, which was structured with changing and jagged rhythms that closely resembles casual speech. It was for this that the more classical minded Ben Jonson commented that Donne, for not keeping of assent, deserving hanging. Some scholars believed that Donne's literary work reflect the changing trends of his life, with love, poetry, and satires from his youth and religious sermons during his later years. Other scholars, such as Helen Gardner, question the validity of this dating. Most of his poems were published posthumously, 1633, in the songs and the sonnets. The exception to these his anniversaries, which were published in 1612, and the devotions upon emergent occasions published in 1624. His sermons are also dated, sometimes specifically by date and year. His legacy. Donne is a commemorate as a priest in the calendar of the Church of England and in the calendar of saints of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America on 31st March. During his lifetime, several likeness was made of the poet. The earliest was the anonymous portrait of 1594, was now in the National Portrait Gallery, London, which has been recently restored. One of the earliest Elizabethan portraits of an author, the fashionably dressed poet is shown darkly brooding on his love. The portrait was described in Dunn's will as that picture of mine which is taken in the shadows and the bequeathed by him to Robert Kerr, first Earl of Ancram. Other paintings include a 1616 head and shoulders after Isaac Oliver, also in the National Portrait Gallery, and a 1622 head and shoulder in the Victoria and Albert Museum in 1911. The young Stanley Spencer devoted a visionary painting to John Donne arriving in heaven 1911, which is now in the Fitzwilliam Museum. Thank you.